world really needs peace and unity.
My name is Paul, and today we have an exciting session about practical meditation that will be explained by Mark. But before that, let's go to the process of self-realization, which will be our first meditation. And this is happening when our energy, the Kundalini, which is in the triangular bone at the bottom of our spine, at the base of our spine, will raise in our central nervous system. And when that energy is opening the seventh center, or the fontanelle area, the brain, or we call it the Sahasrara chakra, we get what we call self-realization. So the way to get that experience is very simple. We are going to put our hands on the different chakras to actually awaken the qualities of these chakras and simply go into meditation. So we'll listen to a video of Shri Mataji that will walk us through that process, and I will show you first because we are going to do it eyes closed. So sit relaxed, either on the floor or on your chair. Remove your shoes. It's always good to have our feet on the ground, on Mother Earth. Put your hands on your laps. The left hand will always stay on your lap, and the right hand will move from one chakra or plexus to another, and it will always be on the left side, not the right, always on the left side of your body. So while doing that, we are going to say affirmation or ask questions to help awaken the qualities of these different centers. So let me show you. We'll put your left hand on your lap, and the right hand, we are going to put it on our heart to start with. Then we are going to move it down just under the rib cage. I'm showing you first. Then at the lower part of the abdomen. Then back under the rib cage. Then back on the heart. Then at the junction of the shoulder and the neck on the left side, and you can rotate the head towards the right to bring some pressure at that level. Then bend down your head and put your right hand across your forehead. You can press on both sides. Then put your right hand at the back of your head and rest your head on it, tilting your head upwards a little bit. And then, to get your self-realization, stretch your fingers so that the center of the palm is in full contact with the fontanelle area at the top of your head. And massage it clockwise. And this is where we are going to ask for self-realization. All right? And when you get your self-realization, you will start to feel in your hands the coolness of that subtle energy, this Kundalini that rises within you. So now we are going to listen to a video of Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji started Sahaja Yoga in 1970, and she has spent her entire life to spread Sahaja Yoga, to teach the subtle system, to give self-realization to all the seekers of truth on earth. And now Sahaja Yoga is practiced by thousands and thousands of people all over the world. So let's listen to Shri Mataji.
You can take out your spectacles if you want, because you're closing your eyes and might help your eyesight also. Now, put your left hand towards me, comfortably. Put your feet apart from each other. And now, put your right hand on your heart and close your eyes. Here you have to ask me a very important question. In your heart, you ask me a question as you would ask a computer. You can call me Sri Mataji or Mother, whatever you like. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask the question in your heart, not loudly. 3 times ask in your heart, not loudly. Mother, am I the spirit? You have to only ask in your heart. If you are the spirit, you become your own guide, you become your own master, you become your own guru. So now take down your right hand into the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. And here you have to ask another question 3 times, not loudly, in your heart. Mother, am I the spirit? Mother, am I my own master? Mother, am I my own master? Ask this question 3 times. Am I my own master? I have told you that I respect your freedom and the pure knowledge cannot be forced on you. So please take your right hand in the lower portion of your abdomen and say it 6 times, asking me, Mother, please give me pure knowledge. I cannot force on you. You have to ask in your free will. As soon as you ask for the pure knowledge, the Kundalini starts moving upward. So now we have to nourish the higher centers with our self-confidence. Raise your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen. Press it hard on the left hand side. And here with full confidence you have to say 10 times in your heart, not loudly. Mother, I am my own master. Please say this 10 times. Mother, I am my own master. I told you at the very outset that the greatest truth about you is that you are not this body, you are not this mind, you are not these conditionings, emotions, nor this ego, but you are the spirit, you are the pure spirit. So now raise your right hand onto your heart and ask here, or say with full confidence 12 times, Mother, I am the spirit. Just say it without any hesitation. Say it 12 times, please. For your information, you have to know that the divine power is the source of knowledge, is the ocean of knowledge, is the ocean of love. It is the ocean of peace and ocean of bliss. But above all, it is the ocean of forgiveness. So you cannot commit any mistake which cannot be dissolved by the power of this ocean of forgiveness. So please raise your right hand in the corner of your neck and your shoulder. Push it back as much as possible and turn your head to your right. And with full confidence, please say 16 times. Full confidence in your heart. Mother, I am not guilty at all. All right? As I told you before, that you have to forgive everyone. And those who say it is difficult, they must know that it is a myth whether you forgive or don't forgive. But if you don't forgive, then you play into the wrong hands and get yourself tortured by yourself. So please forgive. In general, everyone, not counting how many people you have to forgive, what you have to forgive, but just say, by raising your hand and putting it on top of your forehead across, putting down your head as much as possible, resting on your hand. Please say, with an open heart, please say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Please say it. Please say, otherwise it is difficult later on for me. I have to clear out everybody's agya and it takes too much time then. So best is to say it from your heart. After all, you are not going to miss your self-realization for that. Now, take back your right hand on the back side of your head and put your head on it, resting on it, upward. Here you have to say for your own satisfaction, O Divine, if I have done any mistakes, please forgive me. But don't feel guilty. Don't count your mistakes, don't think about them. In general, you have to say, O Divine, please forgive me if I have done any mistakes or anything wrong, anything against you. Now, stretch your palm. Stretch your palm and put the center of your palm on top of the fontanelle bone area, which was a soft bone in your childhood. Now, put down your head properly. And here, push back your fingers as far as possible. Please push back. This is very important. And now put a pressure on your scalp. And move your scalp slowly, 7 times clockwise. Here again, I respect your freedom. And I cannot force self-realization on you. So here you have to say 7 times, bending your head properly and pressing it hard, moving 7 times. Mother, please give me my self-realization. Please ask 7 times, please. Now take down your hands and put them towards me. Little higher. Now little bit put your right hand like this. Bend your head and see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. But don't touch it. Above your head. Above your head. And some people get it far. So just try to feel if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Now don't start doubting that is air conditioning and all that. Air conditioning cannot come out of your head. So see for yourself. Now put your left hand towards me. Now again bend your head and see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. All right? Now put your right hand again and again bend your head and see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. It might be hot also, doesn't matter. It may be heat coming out first and then the cool breeze. Doesn't matter if it is hot, doesn't matter. Now, put your both the hands towards the sky like this. Bend back and ask me a question. 3 times you can ask me the question, Mother, is this the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost? Mother, is this the all-pervading power of divine love? Mother, is this the Parama Chaitanya? Ask any one of these questions 3 times. Now put down your hands. Now watch me without thinking. You can do it. Those who have felt the cool breeze in their hands or out of their fontanelle bone area, whether cool or hot, please raise both your hands. Both. See. Just see the amas. Just see. Wonderful. May God bless you all. I bow to you all because you have started now your saintly life. And all those who didn't get also should not get disappointed. On the contrary, if time permits, I would like to meet the people who have felt the cool breeze, and those who haven't felt can come on this side and the Sahajogis can work on them. Again tomorrow you must come, so we will be fixed properly. Those who want to meet me can come and see me because there is some time, and in the meanwhile we can have some music. Now don't think about it. If you start thinking, you'll be lost. Just don't think about it. It's beyond thinking. Thank you very much. Thank you. Beautiful. Oh my. Thank you.
Hey, hi, so my name is Mark and welcome. One of the things that attracted me to Sahaja Yoga when I was a teenager was actually how practical Sahaja Yoga is. So when we normally think about meditation, often, we always think it's got to be sort of mystical or it's, sort of religious and so on. But actually, deep down, Sahaja Yoga is actually extremely practical. And I'll explain a little bit how so you sort of get the idea. So, first of all, when we look at how we think, we're actually generally at the mercy of our thoughts. So, for instance, right now in the world, we see a lot of racism, for example. And racism is really a conditioning. And a conditioning, according to Sahaja Yoga, is actually up here. It's in this hemisphere of the head. And it's related to all of the programming we've had since we were little kids. So we're brought up in a certain community, we eat a certain kind of food, listen to a certain kind of music, with the way we associate our language, the influence of our parents and so on. All of these things create within us conditionings. And these conditionings can be good, like some conditionings like, brush your teeth are obviously very good. But other conditionings can kind of create limitations for us. So the thing about conditionings is that they're very unconscious. We can't see them. So we're at the mercy of them because we're actually unaware that we have these things. Now, conversely, we also have this other institution here called ego. And this ego is our identification with ourselves. So I am this, I think that, it's all of the things that drive us forward in the world. And if you've ever been at work or in a situation where you've met a really egotistical person, you're just astonished sometimes at how a narcissistic or egotistical people can be. But you see, they can't see themselves. You're able to see them, so you can recognize that they've got this massive ego, but they can't see themselves. And it makes you think, well, what about me? Do I have ego? Am I like that? So one of the things about Sahaja Yoga that's really amazing is that whatever your shortcomings are, as in the programming you've had since you're a little kid in your conditionings, or this sense of ego, you actually feel it in Sahaja Yoga. How? So what happens is that if we revert back to the system here, I'll explain a little bit. So when you got your realization, this Kundalini energy came out of the top of your head, you felt a cool breeze. Now, what is that cool breeze? That's amazing. Like, you didn't feel it before. Suddenly you've got a cool breeze coming out of your head. For me, when I first started doing Sahaja Yoga, I thought this was absolutely incredible because something happened. It's not just a mental idea or just jibber jabber. Something actually happened. Then what happens is that on your fingertips, you start to feel tingles that actually correspond to the problems that you're having, within what we call the subtle centers. And these subtle centers relate primarily, of course, first of all, to the physical side of the body. So if you have a heart problem, for example, you have a heart chakra. And this heart chakra, you would feel an imbalance on these fingers, right? But it's not just physical, it's mental and emotional as well. So if you're a very fearful, anxious kind of a person, that fear comes from this heart chakra. So it's not just, he's got a heart problem, it's also he has a emotional problem around that as well. So when we look at the various chakras, we can see a kind of a matrix of our personality, faults and strengths. Okay, so on the centers we have, for instance, this heart chakra we talked about. If you feel scared or frightened or insecure, you would have a problem on this chakra, which you would feel on these fingers. If you're one of those people who hates being with other people and you just want to be a bit of a hermit, this is the center that would be affected, for example. Or if you're a very judgmental person and you're just full of kind of, your own sort of mental thoughts and, you're constantly casting judgment on people, this chakra here would be affected, which is the ring finger on the right hand. So what happens is that as you get to know these chakras, there's a whole science behind this, and Shramaji has literally thousands of talks where she goes through each of these centers, so you can get to understand your own problems related to these chakras through listening to some of these talks. Now, what's interesting is that this actual system is known from the ancient yoga tradition, which goes back thousands of years in India. But the actual awareness of what all these chakras are, the qualities of the chakras, how the imbalances work and so on, is actually completely a new science developed by Shramaji. So this to me was absolutely incredible as well, because we're getting an experience, we feel it, so something's happening, we can feel the tingles on the fingertips, and those tingles correspond to our state. And suddenly, if we revert back to that example of the narcissistic guy who can't see himself, suddenly you've got a mirror. So suddenly you can see yourself. So whatever problem you have, you can feel it, right? And this is a science that never existed before, and we can thank Shamanergy for all of that. So that this entire blueprint, even though it's ancient, the knowledge of this is completely novel and completely new. And that to me is absolutely amazing stuff, because you start to feel it. Like, for instance, when I started doing Saj Yoga, I used to feel these three, and I didn't know, I had no idea what they were. I just got my realization. And I asked the guy, like, what are these? And he's like, oh, it means you're angry. And I was like, no, I'm perfectly fine, you know. So I went home and I asked my mum, you know, am I angry? She's like, you are the angriest person I know. Right? And that to me was a revelation, because I had no idea. I thought I was fine, but my body was telling me that I'm actually angry. Now, what happened was then when I introspected it a little bit, I realized, yeah, I do kind of react a lot. Things tick me off pretty quickly. And that comes from these imbalances, which are actually, it's the right Swadhisthana here. For angry people, this is for you. Right Swadhisthana, right Nabi, the center here, and also this right Vishuddhi. You can also have a bit of this, because obviously you get in your ego a lot, you know. Now, the thing is, though, that you get to understand your shortcomings, but the beauty of Saj Yoga is that you've got a way to actually overcome the problems. So it's not just understanding you have a problem, it's actually you've got the tools to overcome the problem. So, for example, this Kundalini energy in the base of the spine, you can direct that energy to those problem areas, and she will actually clear the problem. And you can use some Saj Yoga techniques, which I think we're going to go into, called foot soaking. Foot soaking helps to take away, you know, when you go to the beach and you have a swim and you come out, you feel fantastic. You know, it's like actually what's happened is the salt water has cleared your chakras. Even though you're unaware of what these chakras are and so on, that's what's happened, and that's why you feel great. So you're having it's like having a day at the surf every day when you have a foot soak, but it's good for you because it cleanses the chakras. So what happens is that problem of anger, by treating those chakras, the problem just goes away. I like to think of it like it's like a computer. Like you have a Windows system and you start to have problems, you know. And so what do? You always do some virus thing or do a registry, check the registry of the system. This is the fundamental foundation of your personality. So you could say like the operating system, Windows, is like your mental life, but this is the real root level of who you are. So by treating this root level of who you are, you can alleviate a lot of those problems kind of automatically, and then it reflects in your personality. So what happened with me was I cleared these problems. I didn't even really know what I was doing. I just went ahead with what they were telling me, do the foot soaking and so on. And within sort of 6 or 7 weeks, like I was a completely different person, and people noticed, you know. And so for me, that really gave me, how do you say, a great respect for Shamanergy and for Saj Yoga, because I could see that it was working, you know. So you can transform yourself, you can overcome your own limitations as a person, just by understanding yourself through these centers. And the beauty of it all is that that's only part of it, right? The main part is that you actually go into a state that Paul was talking about earlier, which is thoughtless awareness. And this goes back to, again, a very practical approach to life. If you watch your thoughts for any length of time, how many of them do you really need? So, you know, if you're driving your car, your mind's just going left and right here and there. It's just reacting to things that you're seeing. But actually, most of those thoughts are completely irrelevant. If you didn't have those thoughts, it wouldn't make any difference in your life. So the beauty of Saj Yoga is that you can get into a state called thoughtless awareness. And in that state, there's no thought. And you can just put yourself in it. I'm going to show you how to actually do that in a minute. But when you're in that state, you're completely empty, but you're completely aware. And it's very interesting in my, I was a journalist for a long time, and I got to interview a lot of people who were, you know, elite athletes, elite musicians, and so on. And I used to ask them the question, like, what happens, you know, when you're an elite athlete or you're an elite musician, what happens? And they say that what happens is that they don't think, they just do. So they're putting one foot after the other. There's no actual thought involved. And the thinking actually takes them out of the zone, what they call the flow state. So there was one Olympic athlete that I spoke to, and she used to have a rubber band around her wrist. And whenever she would think, she would snap the rubber band to get herself out of her head. So it's interesting that these elite athletes, elite musicians, a lot of great musicians realize that the ideas come not from their own brain, but they just kind of come to them at weird times. We all know it, you know, in the shower, late at night, and so on. We understand this. But that's because they're not thinking, they're not in their heads. They're open, and then those ideas can flow. So the idea of just stopping your thoughts, stopping these useless thoughts that don't have any meaning on anything, and your default state becomes a very peaceful, silent kind of a state. And that is absolutely amazing. And this is something that anyone can do, you know, kids, old people, and so on. So instead of you being at the mercy of all your thoughts, your default state is this beautiful, silent state. It's very serene, it's very calm. And the thing is that it changes you. So as a person, you become more dignified, more graceful. You know, that anger kind of fades away. And all of those angularities in your character just kind of disappear, all due to the power of this Kundalini. Keeping in mind that it's the power of this Kundalini that helps to put you into that thoughtless state. So that's the beauty of Saj Yoga. It's extremely practical, and that's why I've been doing it now for 30 odd years, because I can just see the advantage of having that meditative state ahead of just being lost in my own thoughts all the time. Okay, so that's a bit of a basic rundown, and what we'll do now is go through a very short meditation where you can understand how to actually disengage your brain and go into that thoughtless state. Okay, so now how you do it's actually very interesting. What happens if you've ever used noise-cancelling headphones? What happens is that you put the cups on your ears and a little microphone reads the frequency outside and then flips it inside the cup, and then the frequency, and it actually creates a frequency inside the cup that cancels out the outside frequency. It's incredible. You should Google it. It's actually really interesting. Now, what happens when you meditate is actually exactly the same thing. So a lot of people sort of believe that, oh, you should just relax your toes and relax your fingers and stuff like this. This is not meditation. Actually, you've got to cancel your thought process. And the way to do that is to use your attention. So your attention is actually not your thoughts. Your attention is how you direct your thinking. Okay, it's different. So you're using your attention to cancel out your thoughts. And how you do it is simply watch your thoughts. So you can do that once your Kundalini is awakened, once it's through here and up, you can actually disengage yourself from your thought process and you can watch your thoughts. And as you watch your thoughts, it creates a wave. You have a thought wave that's rising and falling, but you have an equal and opposite attention wave that works the same way, and they cancel each other out. So simply by watching your thoughts, you can cancel your thoughts out. And it's very, very easy to do, and we're going to do that now, okay? So what you can do, just have your hands open on your lap, and you can close your eyes. And then what you do is you watch your thoughts like you're watching a movie. Imagine your thoughts are just like a movie on a screen, okay? So you're watching your thoughts. Now, any time that you have a thought, you just say to yourself, not that, not that. So the idea is that you're having a kind of a focus that allows you to focus, okay? So watch your thoughts. You can do it now. So just close your eyes, hands open. Not that. Just watch. Not that. Anytime your thoughts drift, not that, not that. Not that. And what you'll notice is that you can be thoughtless for just 1 or 2 seconds and then your thoughts will start again. But the idea is that if your attention is good and strong, you can just say not that and bring it back again, and you can enjoy 2-3 more seconds of that silence. So what you're aiming for is 2-3 seconds of silence, pull your attention back, 2-3 more seconds, pull your attention back, and you keep doing that until you can create a length of time when you're empty, okay? So, not that. Not that. Now what happens is that as your meditation gets deeper, your state begins to change. So you feel very calm, very silent, but then you get like a very quiet little hum. It's almost like a soundless sound that goes on. And that's when you know that you're going deep into your meditation. So that's what you're kind of aiming for. So you just use your attention to cancel the thoughts, and you keep doing that. You'll have 2-3 seconds, as I mentioned, you'll have 2-3 seconds of silence. Your attention will drift, you bring it back, 2-3 more seconds, and slowly over time you can increase it, okay? And then you allow yourself to go into a state where you can get that sort of hum that's sort of in your mind. It's a soundless sound, you know, they say the sound of one hand clapping, I think they call it. So in that state, one of the other things that you can do is, so you're watching your thoughts, okay, and you're saying not that, not that, but one of the other things you can do to help the process is breathing. So when you're breathing, what you do is you breathe in and you hold, and you breathe out and you hold. And it's the point where you're holding your breath in and you're holding your breath out. At those 2 points, you can be thoughtless. Okay, so you would breathe in. So we can do, we'll do a few moments together. This is something that you can carry on with. So let's breathe in slowly through our nose, feel your lungs, and just hold. Now, use your attention, not that, not that. Hold it. Now breathe out slowly through your mouth. Hold it out, not that. Use your attention now, not that. Don't let your thoughts drift. Hold your breath out. Now breathe in again. Hold it. Not that. Not that. Don't let your thoughts drift. And out. Hold it out. Not that. Now you start to notice that your attention stabilizes now. It's not drifting like it used to drift. And you can hold it still. We'll just do 15-20 more seconds. Just hold your attention very still. Don't let it drift. Not that. Not that. Okay, and when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. So hopefully you can see the power of your attention just by turning your thoughts, you're turning your attention back on your thoughts the thoughts cancel out. And that breathing exercise really helps you to sort of internalize all that and just to focus a bit. So you can do that every day for 5-10 minutes, and then you'll find your attention will stabilize very, very quickly.
Thank you, Mark. That was an amazing insight in our subtle system and how to grow spiritually. I hope you enjoyed this session as much as I have. And I'm looking forward to see you into the next part of our Meditation First Step program. So thank you again for joining us, and looking forward to meet you soon.